Great. You're live. Alright. Hi everyone. I'm just gonna wait for a couple minutes for everyone joining in. Alright. I think we're good to go. Alright. Hi guys, my name is Amen. I'm a first year student at Ryerson. I just finished my first year. Thank you guys so much for tuning into our live today. Hopefully today I'll be able to answer some of your questions you guys have related to Ryerson and TRSM. I am a student in the business management program, so hopefully I'll be able to answer some of your questions. I'm going to start off a little bit by introducing myself and why I chose Ryerson and TRSM specifically, and then I will dive into some questions that you guys have sent in. And if you guys have any questions throughout the live, please drop them down below in the comments and I will try my best to answer them. So, I am in the business management program. I just finished my first year actually, and I'm going into my second year. I am majoring in marketing and minoring in professional communications. So for me, that's a very exciting time. I just started doing my minor in my summer courses actually. And the reason why I chose Ryerson was for two main reasons. Firstly would be the location. So I'm from Toronto, but I currently live in Sudbury. So for me, growing up in Toronto was a big impact on my childhood, and I wanted to bring that back growing into my degree and into my future career as well. So I thought I would come back to the city. For me, I like the location of Ryerson because it's right in the heart of downtown, and for me as a business student, it's very important that I am able to learn as I go in the industry itself, and whatever I'm learning in the classroom environment, I can apply in the real world. So that was one of the reasons. The second reason would be the degree itself. So I find it's a very flexible degree. You're able to learn a lot of different things in terms of your major itself, and also other things that you might want to be learning along the side. So that's very great in terms of wanting to diversify in your degree as well. So that was a bit about Ryerson itself. But when it comes to TRSM, there were a couple of things that struck out to me when I was like, you know what, this is a school I want to go to. The major that I'm in is in marketing. I'm a marketing major minoring in professional communications. So a couple of things I thought about when I was like, okay, what do I want when it comes to university was the student support. So when it comes to TRSM, we have a lot of student support in terms of academic development, social development, and professional development. So we have something like the Academic Success Center if you're struggling a bit in your courses or you're looking for someone who can help you out a bit in the content itself. We have the BCH, the Business Career Hub, for those who are looking into developing professionally, especially if you're going into the co-op program, which I found really helpful for me. So I found that there's a lot of student support within TRSM that allowed me to do the best I can to my own ability. The second thing would be professors. So the professors that we have and the professors I've come across in my classes actually all have worked in the industry before. So as I'm learning content and theoretical material in my courses, I'm actually able to hear about their real life experiences as well and how they were able to apply this knowledge. So for me, it comes out to a more practical standpoint, which I consider a better learning curve for myself. And the third thing would be the convenience of the location and the accessibility. So what's really great is, especially if you're a commuter and you want to come to Ryerson, the Dundas station is right there. So for you, accessibility to school is very easy. For me, as a student living on residence, it was just a walk away for me. The food options as well in terms of like navigating throughout your school day, we're right next to the mall. So for me, it was easy for me to go grab a coffee whenever I wanted to go in between classes or something to grab a bite, especially the food options on campus itself as well. There's a lot of convenience. So as a student, navigating throughout your school day is very much easy as well. And the top three things I would suggest if you're going into business management to definitely look out for is co-op. So I'm going to be looking to apply into co-op at the end of my second year as a marketing major, which I'm super excited for. Second thing would be, like I mentioned before, the degree structure. So if I open up really quickly about degree structure, the thing I really like about it is, so for example, I'm majoring into marketing. I have specific courses I have to take for marketing, but alongside marketing, I have to complete certain course requirements like my electives, and we have another category called profession related courses. And within the PR courses, you're able to diversify your skill set. So you're able to do a minor in that. You're able to learn different things that you might not necessarily learn within your specific major within itself. But it would also aid you within the major you're doing, or make you seem more competitive in the market as well, which for me, I find is something I'm definitely looking for. How can I stand on edge between other marketing students, is for me to take a minor in a different skill set that I can grasp for sure. So that's a little bit about me, why I chose TRSM and Ryerson specifically, and why I love my program. You guys have sent in some questions over the past 24 hours, so I'm going to be answering a couple of those, and also just keeping an eye out on the comment section just to make sure if you guys have any questions that I'm able to answer along the way. So a common question we get asked and a lot of the time is, when do we do our timetable? So for me, the very first time I looked into my timetable was on my RAMS account. So that's something you guys are going to be having to look into once you get your credentials and everything sent in from Ryerson, is to open up your RAMS account. And for me, I started for business management first year, it was around July. Each program, it varies the specific dates, but alongside you start in July, so it's early in the morning. They gave me a timing, and I basically had to set my alarm, wake up that time, and put my courses in. One thing I will advise is that there's a lot of students on the server at once, so definitely one thing I would suggest, which is what I had done, was plan beforehand. So I put all my courses in my shopping cart, and then when it was time to enroll, I just clicked enroll. And even though this the website itself lagged a little bit and it takes time to get into the course, be patient. Having done that planning beforehand really allowed me and helped me out in getting the courses that I wanted for my first year, specifically like the mandatory courses or an electives course that you might want to take. So another question we got asked was, how many classes do you have in a day and what are they? So this is really all up to you. You'll be given a set calendar, which is on the Ryerson website specifically to your program. So for us, we have a business management calendar, and it'll tell you courses you can do per semester. I know the maximum limit within the rule book is 7 per semester. I really do not on a personal end suggest that, especially if it's your first year and you're trying to navigate around school and get your way around it. Definitely be kind to yourself when choosing your course load. But for me, because I was a transfer student, I had some credits transferred over, so I didn't have to do a liberal in my first year or an elective. So for me, I only had 5 courses a semester. About the amount of classes I had in a day, I had 1 semester. So my first semester, I had about 3 classes a day, which honestly was a lot for me. And I didn't do that second semester onwards. Second semester, I had a part-time job, so I really needed to organize my time accordingly. And so I had mostly probably 2 classes a day. I remember having, in my second semester, I had 3 classes, but one of the classes was a tutorial, so it was just only an hour, and it wasn't as time-consuming as what a lecture may be. So for me, that's how I did it on my end. And still going forward, I'm going to try to keep it to 2 maximum if required. So definitely just look at your personal limit and stack in terms of how many you want to take in a day. If you're a commuter student, then definitely you would be might want to figure in time for commuting, and definitely how you would want to organize your time around that. So definitely just look at what you want to do. So another question we got asked, the same thing, is how many days a week do you have to go to school? Really depends on you. You're given that time and flexibility to organize your courses however you like. I always kept 1 day free out of my schedule for both semesters. I found that was super helpful for me actually. So my first semester, I used that day to either catch up on my readings and my lectures. And then in my second semester, because I was working part-time, I actually kept a couple of my work hours, majority of my work hours actually that day. So in order for me to keep the balance between school and work. So definitely look at what you've got going on your plate and how you want to organize accordingly. So that is that. So my regular schedule throughout the week, it varied day to day. I definitely did have a sort of a structure, but definitely a lot of things would change here and there. Most of it would consist of I would be up by 8, 9 a.m. max because I had a couple of morning classes. So I would go to school. I would go to TRSM in the morning. A lot of my classes were at the Ted Rogers building actually. So I would go do my classes. Afterwards, I might go to work. In between class and work, I might go grab a bite to eat, see my friends. I was involved in a couple of student groups, so if I had any errands to run in terms of those or any meetings to do, that was something I had to do. But most of my day kind of consisted around in TRSM, sorry. I kind of had a part-time job at school itself through the career boost. So for me, that really, most of my time was really spent at school. So I'd be there in the morning, and come back like, my day would end 6, 7, but if I had an event, like a networking event to go to, those would last about till 9, so I'd get home by 9. For me, I was lucky, it was just a walk home for me, like a 5-10 minute walk, so it wasn't, for me, I didn't worry about commuting, but that's kind of how my day looked like. Kind of was packed, but I really enjoyed that personally. I like having a lot of things to do, always spending time with my friends as much as I can as well. How long are classes? So this depends on what the class itself is. A lecture is normally 3 hours. So if I had a GMS lecture and accounting lecture, one lecture a week would be 3 hours. How many times a week does it happen? It really depends on your course. For me, I really only had lectures once a week. Some courses will also have labs or tutorials. Your labs and tutorials are separate to your lectures, and those are only consistent of an hour, and it's usually either straight after class or any time throughout the week. So it really depends on your schedule and what you want to do for that. The next question I got asked is, how many electives do you have to take in your first year? So for me, I know for business management, you're only allowed to take one lower liberal as an elective, and then in your second year, I have to take 2 lower liberals. So the way your electives work, I'll give you a quick rundown. We call them liberal studies, and in your first and second year, you take courses that are in the lower liberal table, and then for third year onwards, you take upper liberal studies, which would be considered for your electives. So according to that, you're able to take courses you want to learn outside of your program, or even just to satisfy the requirements. Sometimes I know how that feels. So you guys have been throwing some questions in the comments, which is great. I'm gonna actually scroll back a bit up and see any questions that I'll be able to answer. So someone asked, I have no friends here, and another person asked how I got involved in school. So actually, I'll relate those 2 questions together. So for me, my first semester was a bit difficult because I was still trying to navigate around school, and the way I made friends was actually through getting involved at school. So the first way I would suggest for you guys to get involved is through Frosh and any orientation events you have. If you're in BM and business management, or just at TRSM through accounting finance, BTM, or retail even, you can attend Commerce Frosh, held by the Ted Rogers Student Society. That is a great way for you guys to meet friends, meet your upper year students as well, who can help you so much in terms of navigating your first year around to the success that you can do it. A second way I would definitely suggest getting involved in campus is actually finding a part-time job at Ryerson. So you can do this through Career Boost. It's a super easy application. Once you fill out, there'll be a lot of opportunities they have in fall and winter. Through this opportunity, I found I was able to meet a lot of staff members and professors actually in Ryerson, which for me helps in my academic learning as well. And there's a lot of students as well who take up these career boost positions, so you'll meet other students who might be outside of your faculty along the way. Third way I would suggest meeting friends on campus is through student groups and ways of getting involved. So whether it's volunteering, taking up an associate position on a course union, whatever you can do to try to get yourself involved. We have a lot of clubs in Ryerson and in TRSM itself. I can speak on behalf of for TRSM. All the courses that we have are under the Ted Rogers Student Society, which is our bigger student group, which have 30 plus student groups underneath them who they are able to manage and take care of. So definitely reach out to someone in TRSM if you're looking for getting involved that way as well. And I'm going to look for any more questions. So how many courses are normally attributed per semester? I know for part-time, so one more thing I would also say is part-time I know is 3 courses, anything below, and anything 4 courses above is full-time, so adjust accordingly. You can take maximum, like I mentioned before, up to 7, but it's a lot on your plate. It can be a lot on your plate, so definitely keep that in mind. What student groups did I join? So in my first year, I joined Ted Rogers Student Society in their breakthrough program. So it was a mentorship program in where I got paired up with a lot of mentees with a couple of mentors, and we had this group. And there was a lot of other groups made within this program, and each, I would say about bi-weekly, we went through these seminars and sessions in order to help our development academically, professionally, and socially. That is the 3 pillars of the Ted Rogers Student Society and what they heavily believe in terms of how a student develops in their career or in their university career. So that was one thing I did, was become a breakthrough mentee, and something I would suggest to all of you guys if you are in TRSM coming into your first year, definitely check out the breakthrough program. I met so many of my close friends through that, and it helped me so much in navigating my first year. A second student group I got involved with was TROP, so the Ted Rogers Outreach Program, and it's kind of similar to what I'm doing here. Our aim was to bridge the gap between grade 12 and post-secondary in order to really help you guys with your transition, and also first years that we had coming in, so students like myself and my friends as well. So through that opportunity, I was able to go back to different high schools, talk to them about what my first year was really like, be really raw and honest with them in terms of how my life was being completely navigated towards university, and being able to really connect with students just like you guys through this live. So those are the 2 student groups I got involved with. I kind of kept it light just so I could figure out what I liked and what I didn't like in my first year. First year is really all about experimenting and just figuring out, because it's your first time into this new environment, and it's also very exciting. So definitely check out stuff. If you don't like something, that is completely okay. There's many more things out there, so definitely do put yourself out there and see what Ryerson has to offer, and maybe you'll find something you like. How many scholarships are there? So Ryerson do offer scholarships. I know it depends faculty to faculty. For me currently, I use a website called AwardSpring, which is run by Ryerson, and that's where shows me all my applications and scholarships that I am eligible for. So once you do get your credentials and everything, I highly suggest going on that website to find what scholarships you guys are eligible for. Do you choose your minor at the end of first year? So firstly you choose your major. Minor is something you can develop over a couple of years, because minor requirements are more, there are less courses that you have to take with a minor. So for me, I had to choose my major in March, is when on RAMS the option to actually choose it opened. So for me, I just chose immediately in March, because by then I knew what major I wanted to go into. Minor is something you don't put in until a bit later on, but you can also do that through RAMS. Like if you know in March what minor you want to do, you can put that in through RAMS. That's not an issue at all. When do students apply for fall OSAP? So I remember I applied for OSAP for the fall, I would say around the summertime. I want to say between March to July is when the application opens, so definitely we do check it out. I know OSAP just opened for spring summer students, so students who are in first year onwards. So for you guys, it should open up really soon. Do check it out. I do not know exact dates. If you guys do have more admission questions, something related to finances and stuff, I would highly suggest asking why Ryerson, through their website, or it's a service hub. You can definitely email them. I know you can't call them right now due to times as such, but yeah, so mostly I can talk to you guys about my experience as a first year student in TRSM, business management, stuff like that. What stream are you again? So I am in the business management program at Ted Rogers, and I'm majoring in marketing. I applied to public policy administration. When can I expect an answer? Again, questions admissions related, you definitely have to ask why Ryerson on their website or Service Hub. They would be of more help to you in that sense. I'm sorry, I cannot answer it. So I'm gonna answer some more questions that are on our spreadsheet. So if I do major and minor, does that reflect the number of electives I have to take? No, not necessarily, because the courses that you take for your major and minor are specific set number of courses, and the courses you take for your lower liberals and upper liberals, so your electives, those are set number as well. It doesn't matter how many minors you do, how many majors you do, you have to take a set number of electives in order to complete your degree to the minimum requirement. So how big are the classes? So this class size really depends on what type of class you're in. So if you're in a lecture, and you're in like your first, second year, your classes are gonna be much bigger. For instance, my accounting 100 class was really big. It was like about 500 students. My statistics class, like QMS 210, that had about 300 kids in it. But then when I went to my labs and tutorials, so I had a lab, for my information technology course, that had about 20 students in it. My tutorial for human resources, again, that had about 12, 15 students. So it really depends on what type of class you're going to, if you're going to a lecture or not, and what year you're in. As you get older into your upper years, your class sizes will decrease because you get more specialized in the specific courses and your majors and minors you're taking. But definitely your first 2 years, like, you'll definitely have big class sizes, and you would have to find the time and make your own initiative to go meet the professor at their office hours. If you are interested in creating that relationship with your professor, that they're able to help you in your degree, that's going to be something you have to do on your own. And take initiative for it. The one thing is very different between high school and universities. We're not spoon-fed everything now. You're given your basic course lecture material, but any extra help you need, you're going to have to ask yourself, which is completely okay as well to do. Like, this is something I had to tell myself, definitely, was to go out and seek for help when necessary. And we have the resources on campus to do so, whether it's through Ryerson or through TRSM, no matter what faculty you are, there is support here for you, so don't be afraid of that. Lindsay asked, I'm transferring for the same program as you. What advice do you have for this field of study? So for business management, a couple of things I would want you to think about is, what are you looking out of the degree? Are you wanting to go work in the industry? Are you looking to start your own business? Because if you are going to be doing co-op is an extra year, so your degree will be 5 years. Some people are not okay with that. Some people want to be finished within 4 years, so definitely consider that, what you are looking for in terms of like your own personal requirements. And definitely, I would say, enjoy your first year a lot, because especially if you're not exactly sure what major you want to go into, that's okay, because your first year consists of doing a lot of introduction courses in different aspects of business. So you'll have an introduction course in human resources, an intro to accounting, intro to managerial accounting, macroeconomics, microeconomics, marketing, global management. So you'll be learning a lot of different aspects of business before choosing your major in March. And within that, it'll allow you to really just explore what you like and what you don't like. So definitely would be like those things I would say to consider for the field of business management, or just like TRSM in general. I know accounting and finance and business technology management are a bit more specific with the courses they take, but yeah, for BM for sure. What if you want to switch your program after first year? I know it's easy to switch your program. You have to talk to your program advisor about that, though. That was something actually I thought I was going to do, switch from business management to business technology management at one point. So when I talked to my program advisor about that, he said I would have to do another OUAC application for that. So definitely reach out to your faculty and program advisors if you're looking to switch out. How competitive is it into getting psychology BA? Again, I'm not too sure on that. That's something more of an admissions related question you might want to ask the Service Hub or YRIS and send them an email for sure. So, another question we got asked is, do you have to do presentations? Now in your first year, not so much. It's more lecture based. You just go attend a lecture, take notes, come out. If you're going into your upper years, something like a field in marketing, it's very much project based. You might have to do a couple of presentations. If you're in communications, it's definitely project based, more presentations related. So it really depends. I know my very first presentation is going to be in my communications course, so it's CMN 279, which is an introduction to communications. I'm going to have a presentation which I'm going to have to do virtually. So if I was taking that course in person, then yeah, I've had friends who've taken the course in their first, second semester, and that was the only presentation they had in their first year. So it really depends on the major you're doing and what type of courses you're taking. But yeah, presentations are possible, specifically more so in your tutorials as well. So what's the most challenging thing you've had to face while attending Ted Rogers? I think the most challenging thing would have to be living on my own. So I lived on residence. I lived in the International Living Learning Center. I really loved living on residence. For me, it was a very positive experience, but definitely took me a while to getting used to dealing with my own personal responsibilities, dealing with school work. So really being able to maintain that work-life school balance and learning time management skills was definitely something I acquired to adjusting. And probably the second thing I faced probably a challenge in would be asking for help, because like I mentioned before, high school and university, it is very different in terms of content being given to you, and not everything being spoon-fed would be my best way to put it. So it took me a while to actually get the initiative to go ask for help, whether it was at the Academic Success Center in terms of not knowing material in my course. They offer tutoring, so what I would have to do is after my lectures, after doing my class reading, I would go take in a couple of questions that I didn't really understand when going through in class, and I would have an upper year student actually go through with me, which would aid me in getting a better grade and just understanding course content. And in terms of learning and stuff, another thing I really had difficulty was I didn't know how to effectively learn for school. So through that, I was actually told that there were learning strategists through the Academic Success Center who helped me gain a better understanding of how to effectively learn for my courses in order for me to get a better GPA. So definitely, in summary, top two things that was challenging was living on my own and asking for help. But I want to tell you guys that it's completely okay to ask for help. This was something I had to talk myself into, and there are so many resources out there on Ryerson and in TRSM for your student support. It's unbelievable. Actually, it's one of the things I really love about our school is the amount of support you'll have throughout your degree. So we have a couple more questions coming in. How do we become a TA in TRSM? I am not too sure, but I would definitely say check out the Career Boost. I feel like I've seen a couple of TA teaching assistant opportunities through the Career Boost. I would also suggest reaching out to your program advisor and TRSM. They would also have a better idea on how to become a TA. I got asked, how often do you have to write quizzes and tests? This varies course to course. The quizzes I'm taking right now, the courses I'm taking right now in the summer, I have no exams. It's just all assignment based. Most of the times you'll sometimes have a quiz like after every lecture, and professors will do this so that you are on top of your readings and that all you're studying the material as it goes, so you're not leaving it last minute. So usually you'll have one midterm test, maybe two midterm tests, really depends on the prof and the course. Definitely check course outlines. If you have any more questions in regards to that, check course outlines on courses you might be taking, for sure. But really, it just depends, again, on the course, yeah. Someone asked, is finding an on-campus job hard? No. So for me, it was a very easy process. So we have the Career Boost. It's a website, and basically, whoever is looking for students to work for them, they put all the job postings there. You fill out a small application to submit all your financial information to them, in terms of like how much you spend throughout the year when it comes to ancillaries and books and fees, and then accordingly, once you go through that application, you can apply to several job postings for Ryerson, and they range from all sorts of faculties and departments. So I know Athletic Center, they hire quite often. TRSM as well hires quite a bit. Faculty of Arts, Sociology, Faculty of Engineering. So all these faculties, they'll come together, have this one job posting, and you can find anything that you're looking for. So honestly, it's a pretty good resource in terms of trying to make some money on the side as you're going to school, and the convenience that everything is really much in one place. So definitely I would suggest finding a job on Career Boost. Can you have a double major in TRSM? Yeah, you can have a double major. It's not impossible. I would definitely suggest going to your program advisor for that, because they'll be able to help really lay out courses accordingly, and so that's much easier for you, especially in terms of trying to organize your degree throughout the couple of years. So if you are looking to double major or add 2 minors and a major, definitely just go to your program advisor just so that they're able to help you out, navigate your template a bit more easier on your end. So we have a couple more questions. Are there competitions available for TRSM students? Yes. So we do a lot of case competitions through a lot of student unions and student groups. So this was something I very much enjoyed in my first year, was getting involved in different case competitions, because a lot of them are very much real life world-based scenarios that might occur while you are working. And so this really gave me an opportunity in just applying my skill set outside the classroom environment into a project that I might come across while I'm working in my upper years. So definitely I would say get involved in case competitions. Even if you don't know, you'll learn how to cut a case, and you'll definitely learn tips and tricks along the way of presenting as well. So they're definitely really good skill sets to learn and have. We have a couple more questions. Heard that getting into accounting for business management is quite hard. Is that true? I do know that like for my friends who are in accounting and finance, they pretty much got in. So I'm not too sure on grade requirements and cutoffs. Again, that's something you would have to ask admissions. But I do know accounting and finance is more of a course, like it's more of a heavier course load, definitely. So we have a couple of more questions in the document. What was my favorite course so far? For me, my favorite course so far would have had to be marketing, which is why I'm majoring in it. I really liked the content that we were doing. We were able to do a SWOT analysis paper as well, which I thought was really cool because it was a project-based assessment on the content I've learned in class. So really being able to apply that into a real life scenario again, I thought was really cool. And another course I really liked was GMS 200, so that's Introduction to Global Management Studies. I really loved that course, mainly because luckily the class I was in, we were a very talkative class, so we loved having class discussions on content and weekly ratings. My professor was very open to that as well, and because he worked in the industry, he was able to give us insight on what it was like applying the content and theory we were learning in real life. So I really thought that was a cool course, and for a second I thought I was going to major in GMS, honestly, because of GMS 200. So definitely you'll have courses as such which might influence your decision into your major. So definitely really pay attention to your aptitude and what you're liking, what you're not liking as you're taking all these courses. I got asked, is marketing hard? It really depends on you personally. For me, I really like marketing. I kind of think more towards a marketing perspective in terms of how to market product, what consumers are looking at, when it comes to products they're looking at, how to really fulfill those needs and wants that customers are looking for. So because my brain's very much marketing oriented, I'm able to really execute tasks and understand content properly. I do know there are some harder courses in marketing, But then again, that's subjective based on what you're looking for and what you like and what you don't like. So that's something you would consider. There are a couple of math courses in marketing, like Marketing 300, so we do have to learn basic metrics. So do keep that in mind when deciding on your major. That definitely look at like the courses you'll be doing in your up years and what the content consists of in each course. So I got asked, what jobs can you get with a marketing major, or what's my dream job? So I currently work in as a media coordinator for, I've had a couple of roles. Mostly I specialize in digital marketing and social media. That's what I like doing the most. So definitely, if my dream job would definitely be like managing different social media portfolios for companies, whether it's as a consultant or being hired as a social media manager. That's something I'm looking for. But you can get a lot of jobs done with a marketing major. You could be working with social media. You can be working in product and brand management, market segmentation. There's definitely a lot of options that you have when it comes to the marketing major. I find it is quite diverse. How are the math courses? So for us this year, I'm not too sure if it's changing onwards or if it's staying the same, but for us this year, we had 2 math courses. So we had a statistics course in our second semester, which I pretty much really liked a lot. Actually, I really liked that statistics course. And we had a math course in first semester, which was more similar to your advanced functions course, I would say, in high school. So your grade 12 advanced function course was very much kind of a continuity of that. So they weren't too bad. I prefer statistics over advanced functions personally, so I really liked our statistics course more. But those are the 2 math courses you take, and then we have 2 accounting courses as well. So in your first semester, you'll be taking Accounting 100, which is Introduction to Accounting, and then in your second semester, you're going to be taking Accounting 406, which is Managerial Accounting. So that's kind of what you have in your first year. How competitive are the co-op positions for something like marketing? I have been told that it is quite competitive because you have students from other universities also applying to similar positions as such. So if you are looking into the co-op program, I highly suggest taking or just talking to the Business Career Hub at TRSM, because they have so many resources out there to help us gain these co-op positions. And especially if you do get accepted in the program, you will be working a lot with them in terms of, building interview skills, building, whether it's a, one-on-one interview, group interview, case-based interview. They're going to help you with building your resume, creating cover letters. So definitely check out the BCH if you are applying into co-op, because I've been talking to them a bit just as a first year, and they've helped me so much. And I'm not even, it's like not my time to apply yet into the co-op program, but they've already really helped me out and prepared me so much that I think it would help you guys as well. What if I didn't take advanced functions in high school? Don't worry, as you're taking courses along Ryerson, we have tutoring support at Ryerson. So if you are taking courses like QMS 110 and QMS 210, which are the math courses in your first year, and you need you need a bit of help, there are math support at the tutoring center and academic success center, and also we have the SLC, which have English and math support as well. So definitely you guys have help if needed. If I didn't take accounting in high school, will it be more difficult? I didn't take accounting in high school at all. I did the International Baccalaureate program in high school, so I took a lot of science courses rather than business courses. So for me, my friends who did take accounting in high school, they did find it slightly easier. They had a better basic understanding, but I don't think so it's as in-depth. So honestly, you won't be too difficult, like it won't be too difficult compared to like what your peers have done if they have taken accounting. So you'll be okay. And honestly, you also have support in terms of tutoring if help is needed. So you're definitely in good hands for sure. Is it difficult to get into the co-op program? I know there is a GPA requirement, so as long as you get that GPA requirement for co-op, I think you should be okay. That's all really I've been told so far, is to have a certain GPA for my co-op application, and I should be okay. So yeah, we're gonna go back into the spreadsheet. Yeah, so another question I got asked is, what is a transfer student? So a transfer student is essentially someone who's coming from an alternative institution that isn't high school. So for me, I was in a previous university before I came to Ryerson, and so basically my application process was a bit different. I didn't apply through OUAC, but I applied through another part on OUAC, and I had to go through a transfer credit report. And for me, you guys have been asking about like what the admission rollout dates are in terms of acceptances. I'm not too sure because like for me it was completely different. I applied like at the end of May and got accepted in July because I applied as a transfer student. So for me it was very different compared to you guys who are coming out of high school and applying into university. So that was kind of what I had done. So yeah. If you guys do have any more questions though, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. Because I would love to answer them, try to help you guys out. If you have any questions on my experience, what it was like living on residence maybe, or anything TRSM related, drop them down below. We're gonna check them out and see what you guys have been asking. I heard course enrollment opens on August 11th. Is that true? Again, that really depends program to program. So definitely I would say keep up with the emails that Ryerson is sending you and your faculty. It really depends depending on your program that you're in when course enrollment opens. It has to be different though for each program, only because there's so many students. If you guys are all on the server at once, like you guys would not be able to get your courses. The site would crash. So definitely just keep that in mind actually as well, that to have a bit of patience when you're enrolling in courses, because especially when you're doing it on the first day at that specific time given, because there will be so many students on the server, it might take a little bit of time. So definitely be patient when it comes to that. A couple more questions. Which residence did you live in? I lived in the International Learning Living Center, so it's also known as ILC for short. It's on, I believe the address was 240 Jarvis Street, so it's actually right near it's right adjacent from Pittman and right across the same street as Hullum as well. So that was kind of the residence I lived in. Yes, I am still a student at Ryerson. Would you say residence is worth it for first year? For me personally, I really liked living on residence. I was able to build a community, a little bit of a home away from home from Ryerson. Being a transfer student, I know that 8 months is a very long time in terms of university. So for me, it was really important that I found a place where I could feel home. And so residence really gave me and allowed me to have the space to do so. I was also involved in residence council, so I was very much in touch with the students in the building and what their needs were and what resources they needed in order for their success and for them to feel more home. So being able to communicate that to executives on the residence council was very rewarding, and being able to connect with everyone. For me, it was super convenient as well living on residence. It's a 10-minute walk from my classes most of the time, so for me, I wasn't worried about waking up too early. I was also not worried about staying on campus too late, because if I was on campus later than 9-10, we do have the Ryerson Safe program. So you call this number and we have so there'll be someone from the security team who walks you home. So for me, I wasn't too worried being on campus very late, because I felt safe around me no matter what, whether it was through walking home myself or calling Ryerson Safe to walk me home. So for me, honestly, it was very convenient living on residence, but definitely you learn a lot about living alone and trying to take care of yourself while also doing a full-time degree was kind of interesting to see as well. Are they looking for rooms in the DCC residence? I am not too sure. You'll have to contact DCC for that, or just the Ryerson residence in general. I know applications were still in process for upper years, but we only applied at home as an upper year, so for DCC I am not too sure. How do you cope with uncertainty? For me, really, it just depends on what I have going on. I kind of just take one day at a time, to be honest. At this point, that's really much all I can do, and all I do have control over is what I do on my daily basis. So yeah. I have more questions. Can I still apply for Ryerson? So as long as I know the Ryerson website have programs and like whether they're still full or not. So as long as the program is not full, I think you can apply. Again, you'd have to ask Service Hub for that and ask them what programs are still open and what programs are not open. So just keep dropping in your comments below. Is it true that ramen students are more likely to swipe the co-ops? The way our co-ops work is that we just have co-ops specifically for our students. So we're not really like interfered with other universities trying to take our positions. The way it just works. I mean, like, it is an interview portal, like in general how you'll have interview jobs on like Indeed or LinkedIn, stuff like that, but you're not really in the fact competing with other university students in that sense. So yeah. You guys have been asking if other programs are doing their own Q&A sessions, and they're trying their best to create a schedule right now. So definitely, if you are interested in learning more about other programs in Ryerson, they're currently being scheduled. So check out the Ryerson at Home page for the schedule and the timings that they will be hosting them. So if you're currently not a TRSM student on and you're wanting to learn about other programs, then definitely check out the website. When are most of your classes? Morning, afternoon, and evening? So it really depends. When the professors offer their courses, there are many times I've had evening classes which run from 6 to 9 p.m. I've had morning 8 a.m. classes. So really it just depends on what's offered that semester. For my personal preference, I've had 8 a.m. classes and I found that I wasn't learning as much because for me it was a bit way too early. I had a couple classes 9 a.m. onwards, and for me that was okay. My marketing class was from 6 to 9 p.m. and I think because it was marketing and because I am more of an aptitude towards marketing, I was okay as long as I had a coffee with me so I wouldn't fall asleep. But then sometimes I really didn't like an afternoon class, so it just really depends on you. But you have the opportunities to like figure out classes of different timings. So I've known some accounting classes that are happening in the morning and happening in the evening, so they do have the variety. Just see what your schedule is like. What companies are some co-ops with? I know that we have some co-ops with the Big Four, some more Deloitte, some other companies in the industry. Honestly, if you do have any questions for a co-op, reach out, and you are in TRSM, reach out to the Business Career Hub. They are on Instagram. They also have a website, and another website I would recommend to you guys if you have questions is the Bachelor of Commerce website that they created. So it's just www.ca/bachelors-of-commerce. In order for you guys to have, like, if you have any more questions, and it'll relate you to different links for TRSM as well. Would it be beneficial to have a LinkedIn account? I was taught to make a LinkedIn account in my first year, so I made a LinkedIn account. It's helped me gain connections, meet more people. I've been able to have a couple of coffee chats with people in the industry. And for me, it was helpful because I was really able to figure out what the industry was like in terms of marketing and digital marketing, as I was able to meet some of the professionals who are already there and currently have established careers. So really, it just depends what you're looking for. The Business Career Hub can help you out in building a LinkedIn account as well, one that's very effective, and they can also teach you the ways of how to navigate an account and what's the best ways to network, etc. How is the first year HR course? So it was very basic human resources content. They were teaching us a little bit about recruitment, a little bit about selection, about some laws and regulations within Canada and human resources, hiring and firing. So it's just very basic, an intro to human resources, a little taste of everything, I would say. Catherine has put the website in the comments that I was talking about, www.ryerson.ca/Bachelor of Commerce. It'll have a ton of material for you guys to read and look up as well. Someone has asked, how are the meal plans? For me, they were okay. My own personal thing was I was in TRSM most of the day, so I really would just have breakfast and dinner there, and most like my meals in between I just ended up buying my own, because for me, I just didn't want to run back and forth to the cafeteria every time I ate. But besides the money you have from your meal plan, you also have some flex dollars, which you can keep to eat around campus as well, such as like the Service Hub Eatery. You're also able to use it at TRSM, at Ted's Kitchen, Bagel Bar, stuff like that. So definitely would recommend, if you are in your first year, maybe you might want to get the meal plan. Have some more questions coming in. What courses would be beneficial to do before the semester starts? Honestly, just complete the courses that your high school requirements that Ryerson have set up. I would honestly just make sure you've got all your 6 university courses required, plus the English and the math course that they're asking for. Again, I'm not too sure which exact courses they're asking for, but make sure you're just completing your basic requirements for your degree of offer, and you guys should be okay. Like I said, there's a lot of support on campus for you guys throughout your semester and for your degree, so you guys are in good hands. You guys can ask any more questions if you guys do have any more. Okay, I'm just asked, are we supposed to find our own placements for co-op? Not necessarily. If you guys do take support through the Business Career Hub, they'll be able to help you out towards that process. Again, I'm not in the co-op program as of yet, so I'm not too sure how finding jobs for co-op work exactly. So definitely I would suggest reaching out to the Business Career Hub in terms of that. Okay, so I think that is all we have for today. I hope I was able to answer some of your guys' questions, any queries, or just, any gaps that maybe need to be filled in. If you have any more questions, definitely tomorrow, TRSM, we're having an AMA on Reddit with Dr. Al Goss, who is our Associate Vice Dean, and Catherine as well from admissions. So if you guys do have any more questions, do ask on the AMA Reddit. So hopefully we'll be able to answer over there. But like always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm really glad I was able to answer some of your questions. If you have any more questions as well related to TRSM, you can reach out to TRSM on Instagram as well. They'll be happy to help. So yeah, I think that's it for today on my end. I hope I was able to help you guys out. Seeing some thank yous in the comments. All right, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.